as war. So they scrap that printing, and then they bring a 16 level later on.
Right, but this...
Not many Christians don't know about this.
Okay, let's go back to the Quran.
So printing press is possible. Is that hard to understand? No, I'm not scared. Well, you understand what I just said to you?
Mental health issues. We've just established that this could be an error. The wow could be a printing error. We've looked at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was 5 of us. We got it from our phones.
Yeah.
Exactly the same as what's written here in the picture.
Yeah.
This one is the only different one, which means that you have to look at this publisher and see clearly they made a mistake.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Okay, but here's the interesting thing. Do you know where I got that difference from?
Where?
Have you ever heard of the British translation of the 10 Qurans? You ever heard of it?
No.
Basically, it's a PDF that does a translation of all the 10, and it gives you all the variations of the 10.
Show us on your phone. You can show us, innit? Get it up on your phone. You got Google now. No, we saying bring Google now. You can show us that now if it's British, you get it from. Show us.
So what I'm saying is I went through that, and that's how I worked out where the Arabic was.
Where do you get it from?
I downloaded it.
So show me.
It's Christian website.
Get it up. No, so get.
It's Christian. It's a Christian website.
Yeah, but I know I have 10 different. I know I have 10 different recital.
No. What they have is they muddy the water. Go. Show him that.
To be honest here, I'm not even got this way of reading. Let's talk about recital. It was recital is the first thing that revealed. The priority of the Quran is a recital first. That's what we know first.
Yeah, you know, someone that knows the Quran off by heart.
Yes, so I know of 7 different recital. I don't know of 10. I know of 7. Correct me if I'm wrong.
7. I've heard
7 different way I know of. Where you get 10 from?
No, that's official. Go ask. Alright, is that
the Prophet said to Omar.
No, you see the Sheikh walking about. You're the Sheikh, the one dressed in the
The Sheikh, you know more than the Prophet?
No. Go and ask him how many Qurats there are. Just ask him.
The Prophet says to Omar, he says, when Omar, one company reciting the Quran in a way, Omar never understand that way. So he waited till he finished reciting and he grabbed him and says, you recite the Quran differently. He took him to the Prophet and the Prophet says to Omar, you recite. He says to the other companion, you recite. I don't remember the companion. He says, you recite also. He says, both of you are correct. And then he says to him, Jibril came to me and Jibril teach me 7 different ways.
Yeah.
The Prophet said, Jibril taught me 7 different ways of reciting. These are what we call like dialect. You know, you have Liverpudlian language, Cockney here, but both they speak in English. Both they speak in English.
Because what you need to understand is when Islam spread, it was Hijazi Arabic. The language, the Quran was in Hijazi.
Different dialect.
But when it spread to Iraq, Iran, different parts, they started to pronounce it slightly different.
In their dialect.
Do you understand? So
it's the mercy of Allah that accommodate their dialect. Allah out of His mercy lenient to them. So okay then, teach them the Quran in 7 different dialects. That was a mercy from Allah. No, so even the 7 different recitation, it's the revelation, it's the one Quran itself because God Himself sanctioned that.
Okay, can I ask you a question about those 7 recitations?
Yeah.
Alright, so you say your Prophet recited them to the companions?
The Prophet said, Jibril taught me all those different ways.
Yeah, so he's recited the 7 different ways to the companions.
Anyone,
no,
listen, I'm saying at times, it's not going to be like everyone.
It's not different ways, it's just the accent.
No, it's going to be like, that's what I'm saying to you, dialect, isn't it?
It's not a different way. It's like you go to Scotland, you go to Liverpool, you go to London.
So you say, one second, my brother, I want to say something. So you say no, why you, no, I want to answer why he's requesting. You request now when the Prophet is praying his Salah, then you have to recite Al-Fatiha and recite it 1 time. You have to recite Al-Fatiha 7 different times. Why would he do that?
No, you're the one who mentioned the 7 different ways.
He says the angel taught me 7 different ways, dialect, accent. Basically.
At the time, the Arabic was, they were speaking in different language, in the different accents.
You mean dialect?
It's the accents.
It's accent, dialect,
exactly. For example, in the Surah Al-Fatiha, when you say Malik Yawmuddin or Malik Yawmuddin, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Both of them it means he's the Malik, he's the king. That's what it means.
You are saying that the Bible is what?
No, one second, brother. So these 7 different dialects. Evil at the time performing it, he's got his company and his own scribe. He said to Zayn bin Thabit, tell him to get the ink pot and the pen and let him write. The Prophet recited in his time and he wrote it down. And the Prophet says to him, recite it back to me what you wrote down. And the Prophet reaffirmed that he wrote correctly what he gave him to say.
Right.
Yes? No, this Quran that we have that which is wrote on was there with Abu Bakr, was there with the second Caliph of Islam until it ended up in the house of Hafsa after the death of those men. Yes?
Right.
Now, when we get to Uthman now, because people reciting.
Yeah, but you skipped it.
Please,
though.
no.
You have skipped it.
What?
You want me to explain?
What do I skip?
Remember, you're saying about Jibril came to Muhammad.
And teach him 7 different audio-wise, 7 different way of reciting.
So what I'm asking is, those 7 ways, were they preserved after Muhammad died?
All of them is preserved.
Alright, so that's fine.
You have people who know, those who have knowledge of can recite in more than one, then it's preserved with them.
Right.
But I'm saying you need not everyone reciting in a 7 different way. You understand me? I don't have to speak English in Liverpool than English. If I speak in Cockney accent, I'm still speaking English.
Yeah, I know that.
So as long as the person meets when I speak reciting correctly in one of the dialect, he reciting Quran.
Right. So now what you just said there.
Do you understand that?
Yeah, I understand. But what you just said there, would Uthman agree with you?
Uthman never did disagree with that.
No, so he would disagree with you.
No, I wouldn't disagree with that.
Oh, so he'd agree with you.
Uthman wouldn't disagree with that. Why would he disagree with that?
Right, so when he collected the Qurans, because of the problem they had with the people arguing.
What did he collect it? What did he collect it? What did he collect it?
Oh, recitate, you had people.
From who? You have to know the background. Who from who?
None of the people who recite the Quran by heart.
So other people revert coming into Islam. Like I'm a Jamaican. Let me give you an example. I'm a Jamaican revert. I try to learn Arabic until so I can pray. Someone might hear me recite, but some words because of my heavy tongue and the way of my background, some words even pronouncing the H is very hard for me. But give me a chance to explain my point. Give me a chance. Give me a chance. I mean, I hear your point. I'm gonna get there.
Yeah.
So some while pronouncing, some Arab who know the recital character, they will know well he didn't pronounce that bit correctly. But I understand he's a new Muslim, his background, I understand.
Yeah.
I know what he's intended to say the correct thing, but because of his every tongue or his background or his dialect or his language, it's a bit hard for him to pronounce.
Right.
So when my excuse will correct you, I'll tell you later on. One man I interrupted you because I know he's a revert, but then he correct when the prayer finished and he tried to teach you and you try to get it. So people with different dialect and different tongue, I'm saying, Uthman never disregarded the 7 because he know they are approved by Allah himself. But what Uthman did, different revert, foreigners, people writing out their own Quran. So Uthman says, people having confusion about their writing out their own Quran and reciting their own Quran, scrap that. That's what you write and what you bring. Whether you're wrong or you're right, it's irrelevant. No, whether you're wrong or you're right is irrelevant. I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna go for the blueprint in the house of Hafsa. That's what you call a safety move. So what you guys thinking, the Quran has been changed and this started, that move was actually proving you the opposite. No, you go for the blueprint.
Yeah, but that's just in one way.
So if we have the blueprint that the Prophet commanded his scribe to write down, how can you say we don't have a preserved Quran? That's madness.
Yeah, but that blueprint you're talking about
is preserved.
Yes or no? But is that blueprint is recited in one way or 7 ways?
In the Prophet language, the Prophet dialect.
But in one way.
The Quraysh dialect, which is the Prophet.
Right.
So the Prophet is more important than every other human being in Islam.
All right. So what Uthman did?
And his companion. You understand that?
Yeah.
So is essential person, his dialect would be a priority one to unite the people. The people are having the same misconception that Omar and the companion had before many years. Uthman know about that disagreement. Doesn't mean none of them are wrong, but instead of bickering because they didn't understand, they didn't know that 7 different ways of reciting was given to Prophet. Omar only came to conclusion when the Prophet says, Jibril taught me 7 different ways. Then the companion, they say, okay, we unite now, that quarrelsome, that problem fixed. So other people later on now, who are maybe distant companion, having the same dispute that Omar had with the other companion earlier days.
Yeah.
So when they're having the same dispute, what Uthman did now, they're having dispute, they're writing out their own Quran, they're reciting their own Quran. Whether the dialect is different from that, I don't have to get into that. Tell them to bring what they bring to me, whether right or wrong, and then he dispose it the way how the Prophet teach you how you dispose the actual Quran as well by burning it.
Right.
Even if we're gonna burn the Quran in Quraysh dialect, we're gonna get rid of it. We have to burn it or bury it. That's the way they teach us. That's what it is.
Yeah, but so when he did that, sounds to me like he also got rid of the other 6 ways as well.
Other people revert, foreigners, other people reciting in their ways and their dialect.
Oh, so you're saying the other 6 ways were still existing?
No, didn't get rid of the other 6 ways. Other people who's reciting Quran and writing their own Quran by their own hands and having bickering between themselves because maybe they don't understand there's more than one way to recite. So they're having the same dispute that Omar and a companion had early on because maybe of their ignorance, their knowledge doesn't reach them that there's many different ways of reciting. So Uthman, who's of authority, who's a leader, who have power, can do stuff, he says to me, to end the argument, this is what I'm going to do. Tell them to bring all that they write and whatever they write. Get rid of it. Dispose it the way we actually should dispose the Quran by burning it.
Right.
Not to disrespect or demean the Quran, that's the way we put it on. Yet we dispose Quran. So Uthman did that to other people who was writing out their own Quran by their hand. Then Uthman said, no, go for the one that the Prophet commanded his scribe to write because I'm sure of this.
Right, but you still haven't explained what happened to the other 6 ways.
The other 6 ways, I'm saying this is people, the recital is in people's memories, the art. It's nothing on paper, you don't need it, it's memorized by people.
Right.
Those who have knowledge of it can recite it.
Okay, so it sounds like what you're saying is that when Muhammad said about being able to recite in 7 ways,
yes,
that added a bit of confusion.
There's no confusion. It fixed the confusion, you're missing the point.
Yeah, and clean it up.
I just teach you that the confusion was before Omar radiallahu and another companion, I don't know, may Allah be pleased, I can't remember his name, were having a disagreement because they thought they were reciting wrongly. Yes? Omar thought, and then they bring him to the Prophet. The Prophet said, you recite. They said to another companion, you recite. They recite both in the different dialect, 2 different recitals in different dialect. The Prophet said, you are right and you are right. Then the Prophet says, Jibril taught me, came to me. Jibril sent by Allah, sanctioned by the God himself, to teach Prophet Muhammad several different dialects of several different Arabic dialects of reciting the Quran. So all 7 different dialects were approved by the God himself, the creator. Right. 1 second. So those who memorize, some individual might memorize more than 1 dialect. Long as he remember one, well, long as he memorize, you don't have to memorize all 7 dialects. You don't have to. But it's obligated for him to learn at least in 1 dialect so he can pray Salah. Even though there is 2. So I'm saying, so what the Prophet said to me, to Omar and the companion, they squashed the beef then because the Prophet says, Allah taught me 7 different ways. Then everything, the beef crashed. The beef squashed because both his revelation, both of us is correct then. But you think because the Prophet said that it make a difference. No, it doesn't make no difference.
Right. So that's your explanation for the difference.
No, that's my explanation. That's the Prophet. That's revelation to the Prophet about the 7 different recitals.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the hadith I give you.
All right. But are you saying the difference between this one and this one is to do with the 7 different ways? Is that what you're saying?
No, the difference.
Oh, there's a difference.
There's no difference.
I'm saying here. No. Like, one second, brother. Like most of the brothers show you a while ago, who most of them are Muslim and Arabic speaker here as well too. They show you that they open the Quran in the written form. It's a kitab. When the Quran is written form, it's called a kitab.
Yeah.
Yes, because people forgetting. We don't need the Quran in the kitab form. Quran preserved before it's written to paper. Do you understand the importance of that?
Yeah. So you're saying this Quran wasn't recited.
This is when the Quran is put onto paper, written down.
Yeah.
It's known as a kitab. Okay? The Quran is a recital.
Yeah.
The Quran is preserved in the hearts of man. First in the Prophet's some art by memorization and many other companions. Zayd bin Thabit, another one, many other one. One companion to recite the Quran, full Quran every 2 days and repeat the cycle. His children come doing the same thing. We have school, madrasa, academy, teachers and students teaching to memorize Quran, learn and memorize Quran. We have that from the inception of the Quran, unbreakable chain of that. How can you forget such thing if you're doing that every day?
Right, but you
you listening with sincerity? How can you?
That's what I'm trying to ask about.
Well, I'm saying if you're doing that every day, reciting that every day, memorizing the full Quran, teachers and students every day from the time Prophet Muhammad didn't know, how can you forget something like that doing it that way?
No, because if you have a break when there's wars.
Where's the break? There's no break. We have to pray every day. We recite Quran every day. Where's the break?
No, because of the regions. Because you're saying that it's the same Arabic in the whole world at the moment.
We pray 5 times a day. We have to pray. We have to recite Quran when we're praying. Or we get break from reciting Quran. There's no, every Ramadan is annually. Every Ramadan the Imam in the mosque had to finish the whole Quran.
Yeah.
That practice been there from Prophet Muhammad did that, and everyone done him did that. Every annually it have to done like that. Unbreakable.
Yeah.
So how can we forget that Quran if we're doing that with it?
No, but this is the thing. So what you're saying, it sounds good if you just.
I mean, it sounds good.
no,
It's logical. It makes sense. I used to be. I'm a songwriter.
not
I used to be a songwriter. You know what I'm saying to you? I used to make songs, and I never used to put them on paper. You know they used to stay in my head.
Yeah.
You know they stay in my head? I used to constantly repeat them, recite them.
Yes.
And Jamaica, I'm sitting with the boys on the block and I'm chatting my lyrics. Every day I'm chatting my own lyrics. I can tell you them right now.
Yeah.
Full verse. I can give you full 2 verse and chorus. Never change. And I never put it on paper. Do you believe that?
Okay, but in order to learn that song in the first place, you had to work out the words, didn't you?
I never write nothing to no paper.
No, but you had to work the words out that you were going to.
I made a song in my head.
All right, yeah. So it came from your head.
I made it there and it never changed.
Yeah. So these recitations of all the Qurans around in the world, the recitation had to be done. Someone else had to recite it. Someone had to
The
listen.
Quran has been sent down unto the art of Prophet Muhammad. When he recited his companion listen, they are very attentive.
Yeah.
They're very attentive. When he recited the Quran, they listen. And they learn, and other man memorize it as well.
Yeah, I know that. But if you just get back to these 2 different Qurans which we started out with,
Yeah, so there's a print. It's a brother they were showing you. They get many different ones, but they concluded this is a printing press. It's a printing error. It's possible.
all right.
Isn't it possible for a printing error?
All right. So you're saying.
They just get their things just to make.
They do anything to make argument. Is it possible for a printing
They
error?
made it themselves.
Oh,
They just made it up. They
Okay.
made it up.
If we say this one's.
No, they made it up.
Then I said the old Quran. They showed the part that you're talking about.
So the Arabic company that sold me this, they made this up. No, Islamic Dawah Center. But
No, the brother said the verse. I just came on here to show you the part that you may be concerned about. They show you that part is a printing error because they look at many other ones.
right.
So they conclude it's a printing error. That's what they're saying. I heard what they said.
No, because what they're looking at is the wash version. Sorry, the Hafs. Is what they, because the Hafs is the majority. Yeah.
My brother, let us you are Christian.
Yeah.
So now, you are saying that maybe something has changed in the Quran, yeah? This is what you are saying, that something has changed in the Quran.
I don't know what printing error is talking about.
No, you are saying that something has changed in the Quran, or what's your point?
No. What your scholars and actually.
No, don't talk about the scholars. Talk about the Quran itself. Forget about the scholars. Scholars can say something that even if I know something, actually, you can be wrong or right. Tell me what you think the Quran is.
They still do it. They still.
It has been changing or something like that.
It's like about different dialect. I don't know.
No, what's
I thought we explained already. It's not hard to understand.
In
It's explained.
America,
But you asked me, and you're not letting me answer.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.